Most people think reprogramming the subconscious mind means standing in front of a mirror, constantly repeating affirmations, visualizing a better life, or forcing positive thinking, or mentally trying to convince themselves that they are confident, abundant, worthy, healed, disciplined, or successful. And that misunderstanding right there is honestly the exact reason so many people stay stuck, even after years of consuming mindset content, reading books, taking courses, and trying every method they can possibly find online. And that is because the subconscious mind doesn't actually change through words alone, and it doesn't change through logic, motivation, discipline, or willpower, but through impression, meaning what is emotionally absorbed, repeatedly experienced, and felt as real inside the body and nervous system over time. This is actually the foundation of what Dr. Joseph Murphy explains in his book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. The subconscious mind accepts whether the conscious mind consistently impresses upon it with feeling and belief. And once something is accepted as true internally, it starts expressing itself externally through behavior, decisions, patterns, relationships, money, health, and structure of life itself. And not in some symbolic way, not in an abstract or vague spiritual sense, but in a very psychological, emotional, neurological, and behavioral way that shapes how a person moves through the world, how they respond to life, and also how they build their reality every single day. The subconscious mind doesn't create what someone wants. It creates what feels normal and what feels familiar, what feels emotionally safe, and also what matches the identity the nervous system is already organized around. So when pressure feels normal to a person, life keeps recreating pressure for that certain person. Let's say for you, instability feels very familiar, and then stability will feel very uncomfortable. When chaos feels like home, peace feels empty. When overworking feels natural, rest feels unsafe. Not because any of this is consciously chosen, but because the subconscious mind is loyal to familiarity, right? Not fulfillment, and it will always pull reality back towards what feels known rather than what actually feels better. This is why Murphy describes the subconscious mind as impersonal. It doesn't judge, it doesn't analyze, it doesn't reason, or it doesn't decide what's good or bad for someone's life. It simply absorbs repeated emotional experiences and then works to reproduce them as reality. Which means reprogramming the subconscious mind isn't about deciding to think differently. It's about changing what the nervous system recognizes as safe, familiar, and true. Belief isn't intellectual, it isn't conceptual, and it doesn't live in the mind itself. Belief lives in the body, in the nervous system, in the emotional memory, in the identity, which is why someone can intellectually believe one thing while emotionally living something completely different. This is why affirmations often don't work, not because affirmations themselves are wrong or impractical, but because repeating statements that contradict what the body feels safe believing creates a natural resistance instead of change, and the subconscious mind will always follow the nervous system over the mind. Murphy also explains that the subconscious mind is most receptive when the conscious mind is calm and the nervous system is regulated, because a relaxed system is open to impression, while a stressed system becomes defensive and closed off to change. So real subconscious mind reprogramming doesn't begin with affirmations, visualization, journaling, scripting, or mindset techniques. It begins with internal safetiness, with that internal safety that you feel, because a system in survival mode cannot observe a new identity. It just cannot do that. When the body is constantly tensed, rushed, pressured, anxious, hyper alert, or even overwhelmed, the subconscious mind isn't in the learning mode, it's in protection mode. And protection mode is focused on survival, not creation. That's why regulation is the first step. Learning how to slow the nervous system down, reduce internal urgency, ground the body, create presence, and bring awareness out of the mind and back into the body, because the subconscious mind is accessed through feeling, not thinking. Then comes the core principle that Murphy also emphasizes again and again, and that is self-image. Not goals, not desires, not manifestations, not intentions themselves, just self-image. How someone experiences themselves internally, what feels natural to receive, what feels normal to hold, and what feels safe to embody, and what identity feels real inside their nervous system. Life doesn't respond to what is wanted from us, it responds to what is believed at the identity level. So reprogramming isn't about chasing new outcomes, it's about shifting identity states and the body. Not trying to believe in abundance, but teaching the nervous system that stability feels actually safe. Not forcing confidence, but embodying groundedness. Not visualizing success, but normalizing ease. Not trying to manifest wealth, but removing fear around receiving it. Because identity isn't a thought, it's a state of being. Murphy teaches that the subconscious mind is impressed through emotion and repetition, meaning it learns through repeated internal experiences, not through information or knowledge itself. So the real method of reprogramming isn't mental repetition of words, but consistent repetition of internal states, calm instead of urgency, safety instead of pressure, groundedness instead of chaos, trust instead of control, stability instead of fear or instability. When these states become familiar, the subconscious accepts them as truth, and once they're accepted as truth, behavior reorganizes naturally. Decisions change naturally. Your boundaries also start to shift naturally. Patterns just dissolve naturally. And reality restructures around the new internal normal. Not through force, but through alignment. Real reprogramming looks like becoming aware of internal reactions without identifying with them, learning to observe emotional patterns without self-judgment, recognizing where the body feels unsafe, and consciously creating new internal experiences that are regulated, grounded, stable, and calm. Then repeating these experiences daily until they become familiar states instead of forced practices. This is actually how the subconscious learns. Not through hype, not through pressure, and not through performance, but through consistency, embodiment, identity work, and also nervous system regulation. You are basically restructuring your whole internal world. And to be honest, this is slow work, right? This is subtle work and deeply internal work. And it's the only form of change that creates lasting transformation, right? Long term. Because it doesn't change behavior first, it changes the system that creates that certain behavior. And at some point, the focus naturally shifts from trying to change life to changing the internal world. Because once the internal world shifts, external reality recognizes it automatically, right? Not magically or not delusionally, but neurologically, emotionally, behaviorally, and structurally. And this is how the subconscious mind reprogramming works. And look, I'm here not trying to make content just to motivate people, but I'm really making this content for people that actually want to change their life completely, right? And how will you actually change your life and change your business or the financial situation that you're currently in is by taking action. I gave you just now the important information, right? The requiring information that you need to use and understand about your subconscious mind. And now you just need to go ahead and implement everything I just taught you in this video, because just scrolling through mindset content and just learning about the subconscious mind, learning and not actually implementing is not going to get you anywhere. But if you feel like you don't want to do it alone, then you can apply down below in the description for a one-on-one training with me, where we are just in one training. We are going to dive into all your subconscious limiting beliefs, right? All the patterns that you have. We're going to identify all the behaviors, and we're actually going to work with your subconscious mind, right? And your body, so that you can go in alignment, so that you can live a life full of prosperity and abundance and not actually push. Especially because I see a lot of people, I'm in business myself, and I see a lot of people just chasing for clients, money, but this is not really how you actually achieve it. You achieve it by aligning your subconscious mind with your dream vision. So if you truly want to achieve that dream life of yours, then as I said, you can go ahead and apply for a one-on-one training where we are going to dive into all of this. This is not even all of it, right? We're going to do so much stuff, like I cannot even cover all of it in this video. But what I want to say to the action takers is see you on the inside. And for the other ones watching this, I really encourage you to just go ahead and implement everything.